610 CKTB proudly supporting Help Kids Shine, a month-long campaign to raise awareness and funds for the Niagara Children's Center. And now, another story of how the Niagara Children's Center helps kids shine.
We're so happy to be able to partner with the Niagara Children's Center for this Help Kids Shine campaign and introduce you to some really amazing kids and their families. Today, our Help Kids Shine ambassador is Harper, and I'm talking with Harper's mom, Fran. Hey, Fran, how's it going?
Good, Kelly. How are you?
Good, good. So tell me a little bit about Harper.
Harper's 2.5 and was born with a genetic disorder that doesn't actually have a name to it, and just basically has to struggle through. She has a issue with mobility and digestion and all kinds of issues she deals with.
So what was the first moment when you realized that Harper was dealing with something?
I'm going to say birth.
Okay.
Pretty much from the beginning, Harper started losing weight, which was the number one concern for the doctors. But that was mostly due to everything that Harper ate. She threw it back up. Most kids spit up, like they told me, but not to the extent that she did. However, they just kind of threw medication at us and give it some time. She'll grow out of it, is what we were told. Until we went to MAC, we self-referred ourselves to McMaster when she was about 2 months old, and they admitted Harper for failure to thrive. They started running a bunch of tests, and that was our start of our journey with the Children's Center, because when we were discharged with a referral for a dietitian as well as an occupational therapist to see if we could get this baby to gain some weight.
And what was it like getting into the Children's Center in the first place? Was it difficult or was it smooth?
It was so smooth. Like when I got my dietitian and occupational therapist, they actually came to me for the first 11 months or so. And then when Harper was just over a year, it was just an automatic transition over into the center when we met our team. So everything was so smooth, I barely had to do anything.
And what are the sort of things that Harper is doing at the center?
Harper sees an occupational therapist. She sees a speech pathologist for communications, and she sees a physiotherapist for her mobility and stuff.
One of the things I've heard from some of the other ambassadors is when they're going through these therapies, when they're working with specialists, it doesn't feel like work. It doesn't feel like, okay, we're going to make sure that this training is done specifically in this way. It's more like play. Do you find that as well?
Absolutely. Harper seems to have a great time when she's there. There's definitely interactive toys for her, and each toy has a task that obviously the therapists know what they're after, right?
Yeah.
But Harper just thinks she's there to play most of the time. Physio, that's a little bit of a different story because they work her a little bit harder. But yeah, when she's with her occupational therapist or the speech pathologist, she just plays, and they look for whatever it is they need to look for or correct, and she really doesn't know why she's there other than to play with toys.
And for you as a mom, having come all that way from not really knowing what really was going on to this point where you're able to see your daughter playing while at the same time receiving the therapy she needs, what does that do for you and your peace of mind?
Well, you basically just said it. It's peace. When I'm at the center and I'm watching them work with her, I feel that there's hope, that Harper will get to where she needs to be. Harper is probably a year behind most other children, probably due to the year that she spent not getting the help that she needed. But she has thrived since being at the center. And when I see her we didn't think Harper would walk on her own without a walker, and she took her first independent steps at the center just a few weeks ago. So it gives us hope that Harper will lead a life that will be fulfilling for her, in the way any parent wants for their children.
Taking that first step must have been huge, not just for you, but for the people who work at the center, because it's family, right?
Yeah, it was definitely a tearful moment. There was a lot of applause and yays and clapping, for sure.
And the other kids who are at the center, does Harper get a chance to play with other kids there and sort of find a sense of belonging?
Yeah, we take a part in the social groups that go on. Walker group, which when Harper had her walker, allowed her to play with the other kids, as well as work on developing her skills with the walker. And they have, when they're at a group like that, there's just a bunch of activities that basically just work on different sensory things. There's the ball pit. It's just a big fun session for them, and the kids seem to really love it.
And as much fun as Harper is having, I understand there are also programs for you, because this can be challenging. It can be taxing as a parent.
One of the number one things that I'm so grateful for is the parent talk nights that we have. We just had a social the other night where they did some line dancing, which the parents had a lot of fun. But the one thing I felt when I started at the center is nobody understood. My friends and family are fantastic, but it just seemed like nobody really understood how frustrating and tiring and exhausting it was working with Harper. And like, they all had my best needs at heart, and they just wanted to hold me up by saying, she'll get through this, everything will be fine. But when I felt hopeless, it wasn't until I met with the other parents at the center on these nights where we can just talk and learn about different things, like how to strengthen those relationships, or the transitions to school, or dealing with the financial burdens, that I really was like, okay, I found my place. This is where, I belong. It's very rare that I actually miss it. My hubby actually sends me out the door on the parent talk night. He's like, you're going, even if I don't want to. So,
well, it's good though. It's good that there's that sense, because like you said, I mean, families, they want to be there, but unless it's a lived experience, you don't really get the sense.
That's right.
That's right. Okay. Well, what's next for you and Harper?
Right now, we're still working on those steps, getting her a little bit more mobile. She is a typical 2-year-old getting into everything. So our basic next move, I think, is working on communication. I'd love to hear some words come out of Harper, but however, we're dealing with some hearing things. So we're working with getting her hearing aids figured out, and still working with the speech pathologist to get some communication there. So it'd be nice to hear Mama or Dada soon.
Well, hey, first steps have been taken, right? So now it's up to words. Perfect. Well, thank you so much for joining me, Fran.
No problem. Thank you. Have a great day.
You too. So that's Fran, the mother of Harper. They use the services over at the Niagara Children's Center. It is such an important part of our community. If you've never gotten a chance to understand the vital work they do, head over to our website, check out some of the other interviews with the ambassadors. And if you want to help support them, you can go to NiagaraChildrenCenter.com and look up the Help Kids Shine campaign.
Help Kids Shine, raising awareness and funds for the Niagara Children's Center. To meet our ambassadors and make a donation, visit 610cktb.com.